Hello, all you lovely computer people, and welcome back to another episode of Lost in the Farmer's Market, where today we're talking about this lovely specimen here with the pointy stick of destiny. Now, I know what you're thinking. Didn't you cover these plants last year like twice? You bet your butt I did, but I did not cover. This is the specimen I wanted. And when it comes to YouTube channels, sometimes you go with the plant you have as opposed to the plant you want. You cannot This plant is exceptionally hard to get at a nursery if you wait too long. And so this year, I was on top of that, but they're usually sold out by the end of March because everyone wants some. Yeah, no, we're not doing a song tie-in. Anyway, its scientific name is Canna generalis. Specific variety, Durban, not to be confused with a certain legislator. Yeah. It is in the family Cannaceae, the Canna family, named because that's the most well-known member of the family. The word canna is from the Greek word canna with a K, spelled the same way otherwise, which means reed-like. And this plant is probably the hottest item in the entire darn family. I mean, the Cannova shades that I did with the beautiful yellow flowers is one thing. Or was it orange? Don't worry, I will link to the other videos in the description. But this is more than just a one-trick pony, not to say the others are. It's got foliage that, like, you wouldn't believe. I mean, look at this foliage. Yeah, it's stripy as heck. And much like all the other canna that I've covered, it is native to tropical and semi-tropical parts of South America and North America. According to the USDA, it is a perennial in zones 8 through 10. We're in 8B. And you dig after first frost in zones 3 through 7. Its soil pH preference is 6 to 8.0. Its exposure preference is full sun to part shade, though I have mine in a nearly full sun situation, so they're doing just fine. This particular variety gets 3 to 4 feet tall with a width of 1 to 1.5 feet. These plants are also known as canna, common garden canna, and garden canna, which is like a boring spread of names. Now, we're going to zoom back out. Yay! These plants were previously known as Canna hybrida, and in some old publication you'll still see that. In some not up-to-date publications that may appear. Don't worry, it's the same thing. Canna hybrida is kind of dumb-sounding. Canna generalis sounds really good. Just my opinion, because, you know, they have general purpose. But anyway, for storing these for winter in the colder, I mentioned that, 3 to 7, you have to dig the rhizomes, unless you plan to buy new ones next year, or in the preceding year. If you must dig the rhizomes, you do it after the first frost by cutting away the now frosted and dead foliage, and then you store the rhizomes in vermiculite at 45 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, vermiculite is basically mica that's been puffed, and it's a great moisture moderator in that it keeps moisture off stored roots. You can store things like dahlia tubers, dug up tulips, whatever you need to store that would otherwise rot in the ground. You can store it in vermiculite, and it should be okay. But you'd have to go back in and, rustle it around, look for dead spots. Anything that's rotten, you need to take out, that sort of thing. Now, to propagate the seeds of canna, you need to scarify the seed coat. That is, nick it or use a cheap nail file to scratch it to the point that you can see through the seed coat to the inner seed cotyledon. I believe that's the proper term. And basically soak it overnight so that the seed breaks dormancy, it imbibes the water, and it busts its own seed coat. That's how you do it. If you put the seed straight down, you will not get more canna lilies in our climate. There's probably something in its native range that handles this, like gravelly soil, which is the case with lupines, or some animal that eats the seed pods, or bird that eats them and poops them out, and the stomach acids do the work, or the rocks in the gizzard. I'm not entirely sure. Sources are not clear. Now, why Durban? What's so special about this plant? Well, firstly, the foliage. This harkens back to the Bengal type Canna Lilies, which were very popular in the early 2000s. And they had this striping, this tiger-esque striping, typically with flashes of orange. Well, Durban has lots of red in it, which is nice. Look at these pinkish red stems. It's fabulous. And, I mean, it's going to have a flower. I offhand do not recall what that color is going to be, because I was so glad to get one. and so prepared to fight another gardener at the nursery for that one plant that I was too busy getting out of Dodge with my prize to read the tag. That's okay. Sometimes it's not the rhythm that hits you, it's the garden that hits you. But anyway, what makes this plant special is that it is not a one-trick pony. It actually has foliage, flower, and it's going to be one of the taller garden plants. So you could have an entire bed of these things and form a living wall by midsummer, and it would be epic. And also the banana-like foliage, even though they're not related, is very exotic. That's what makes Canna Lily special. And this one with unique, fabulous foliage is extra special in the, oh my god, what is that? Where do I get one? Who do I have to kill? Kind of category. So that's what makes Durban special. Just a heads up, if you're in the southeast, you want to try to get them now if they're still available. Don't wait, even if you have to go over budget, because they will be gone quickly. They are one of the more sought out varieties because of how they look. So that is Durban Canna Lily. I just want to point out that in the description I'll have a link to the 2 other videos so you can compare and contrast. As always, folks, thanks for watching. Keep them growing.